Hey, it's andrewbreault. Thanks for tuning into this video on how to make homemade almond milk. I know most of my tutorials focus on technology, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different. So here goes. So obviously the first thing you're going to need is some raw almonds. You're also going to need a 1 cup measure, and I'm using another 3 cup, I guess you could say, container. And just covering those almonds with water. You want them to have a little bit of extra water in there, and just go ahead and cover that. But you want the water to be quite a bit over top of those almonds because they are going to expand a bit. You're going to put them in the refrigerator overnight, and the next morning go ahead and take them out and give them a really good rinse. And I usually rinse them like 2 or 3 times just to get them nice and rinsed off, because the water will come out kind of brownish from kind of the skins that are on the almond seeds. Next, you're going to pour those into your mixer. I am using a Ninja mixer. Absolutely love the Ninja. And then what you want to do is to add 6 cups of water. Now, filtered water is best, but you can just use water right out of your tap. Once again, filtered water is the best. Now you're going to go ahead and turn that blender on and let it run for a good 1.5 to 2 minutes until the almond milk is starting to look really nice and milky, kind of that white milky. Next, you're going to need a strainer. Go ahead and put that in a nice big bowl. It needs to be able to hold a good 2 cups. And then you're going to need either a nut bag or some cheesecloth. As you can see here, I'm just using a white cloth. It's about 150 thread count. It's made to be like a cloth napkin. I give that a quick mix and then go ahead and pour in the almond milk. And I'll stop here in just a minute to kind of give it another quick shake, just to get all that almond meal kind of stirred back up and into the liquid. Just go ahead and continue pouring that until all of the liquid is added into the cloth that you're using, or the strainer that you're using. Nut bag, cheesecloth, whatever. Now I'm going to go ahead and gather up all 4 corners of the cloth and just lift that up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and start to kind of, milk the bag now, that I guess you could say. We're going to milk those almonds. And so I'm just squeezing out that almondy goodness. And then what I'll do here in a moment is we'll just kind of give the end a quick twist and continue squeezing that bag as much as possible, or that cloth. Keep squeezing it as hard as you can. You want to try and get that almond meal as dry as possible inside, so I continue squeezing it as much as possible. So just make sure that your hands are nice and clean before you do this step, or you could wear food service gloves, especially if you're making almond milk that's not just for you and your family. You definitely want to make sure that you put aside that almond meal with the cloth inside of a bowl like you see I did here. We're going to pour the almond milk out, but we're also going to use that almond meal. So you don't want to just set it on a dirty counter. Make sure you have a nice clean bowl that you can put it in, because even though we've ground up those almonds and you've got all that meal that's to the side, it is still edible. There is still a purpose for it. And I will show you that here right now. So go ahead and put your almond milk inside of the refrigerator. As you can see, I'm kind of shaking it up here. It will start to separate the longer it sits. So you just want to make sure you shake it up before you use it. Now, as I said, we don't throw away the almonds once they are all done. So what I do is I take a cookie sheet and go ahead and shake out as much of the almond meal as you can. If you're using a nut bag, this might be a little bit more difficult process, but with the cloth here, you can just rub it together and all that yummy almond meal is going to land on your cookie sheet. Now I'm going to break that all up as much as possible and just kind of spread it around in a nice thin layer all on top of that cookie sheet. All right, and the last step in the process is to go ahead and turn your oven to 200 degrees, or the lowest setting possible. You don't want it all the way down on warm. I try to get it to about 200 degrees, and you are going to leave it in the oven for 3 hours until that almond meal is nice and dry. And once it comes out, you can let it cool, then you can throw it inside of a food processor. I just put mine back in the Ninja blender, blend it up nice and fine, and you have got yourself some yummy almond flour.